Luca excitedly said. This means that those warships outside the wormhole are not from other nomadic fleets, but belong to the indigenous civilization. And the explosion of the two stars wasn't a trap, but a forced act by a nomadic fleet that failed to destroy this civilization. I see it now. Kota suddenly felt that all the illogical things made sense at this moment. So that's it. The defensive force in this galaxy is an indigenous civilization. Haha, what a waste that nomadic fleet is, being driven away by a civilization that just entered level 2. Kota laughed heartily and commanded, send the order, based on the intelligence obtained, establish a new battle plan. I have only one requirement, break in, I want to fight head-on. These days, being stuck outside the wormhole without knowing what's inside had frightened him. Now that he knew the truth, he felt somewhat humiliated. The thought that their mighty late-stage Level 2 civilization had been bluffed by a civilization that had just entered Level 2 made him angry. Kota believed that only by witnessing the destruction of this indigenous civilization could he vent his frustrations from this period. What a waste. So long, and they still haven't broken in. Inside the Sirius star system, Moro looked at the status on the gravitational wave detector and felt frustrated. After they blew up Pluto and Neptune, they didn't leave. Instead, they hid in other star systems within Io light years of the solar system. They wanted to see the destruction of the solar system firsthand. This was the only way to vent their hatred. After all, his younger brother, his lover, and their entire fleet had died in the solar system. The Sirius star system they were in also had a wormhole, but it didn't lead to the solar system. Moro had to navigate his mothership a long way to get here. To his surprise, the invading civilization's fleets hadn't even entered the solar system. They were stopped outside the wormhole, without any progress. This made him both annoyed and angry. Those who dared to come here were definitely no worse than them, at least level 2.75 civilizations. So, he firmly believed that these people could accomplish what he had not, the destruction of the Panga civilization in the solar system. But now, it seemed that they were intimidated, thinking that the civilization inside the solar system was strong and not daring to act rashly. I have to find a way to notify them. Moro considered the resources at hand. Apart from the mothership, he only had the lifeboats loaded on the mothership. But the lifeboats were in short supply, and without an engineering ship, he couldn't replenish them. However, at this point, Moro couldn't care less. After all, even if something happened to the mothership, he would certainly be able to get on a lifeboat. With that in mind, Moro compiled the intelligence from the solar system and instructed one person to take a lifeboat, traverse the wormhole, and head to Proxima Centauri. With the information from the solar system, they should directly attack, right? From his distance, he couldn't see exactly how few alien fleets there were, but judging by their over 100 motherships, this fleet had at least tens of thousands of warships. Their combat power was 100 times that of Moro's fleet, more than enough to take on the Panga civilization in the solar system. Commander, we've received news from the First and Loth Legions. Speak. Dugo replied calmly. He had already made arrangements with his trusted deputies who were stationed 300 light-years away. They would disperse the legions, operate separately, then use a small team to pose as another civilization of level 3, entering Proxima Centauri. They would show their power, giving the other 5 hiding civilizations and the emerged level 2 civilizations a glimpse. Then they'd enter the solar system, providing the other 6 civilizations a chance to flee. Only by doing this could he follow those 6 civilizations and trace back to their home star systems. Otherwise, with their power, they could directly enter the solar system from 300 light-years away and destroy the indigenous civilization. But that would be meaningless. Even if the solar system civilization was destroyed, the other 6 civilizations wouldn't know it was done by a level 3 civilization. They would most likely continue to hide. Therefore, showing their power and scaring off other level 2 civilizations was the key. Only by doing this could he possibly end the battle within a month. Otherwise, once the shift changed in a month, it wouldn't be their Dugo family's business anymore. The 10th Legion has already divided its forces. Everything is going according to plan. They should reach Proxima Centauri in about 3 days. Good. Also, the 1st Legion previously dispersed into nearby star systems. Upon arriving at Proxima Centauri, Dugo had sent several legions out to wander in nearby star systems, hoping to stumble upon a new indigenous civilization by chance. Interested, Dugo asked, "Did they find a new civilization?"
No.
"They've only found what seems to be the hunting fleet that had previously fought against the target star system." "What?" Dugo was taken aback. That fleet didn't run? In his imagination, that fleet would have most likely fled long ago. No, they seemed to hate the indigenous civilization immensely. Even with just one surviving mothership left, they still dispatched an escape ship. Judging from the trajectory of the escape ship traversing the wormhole, it appears to be heading towards Proxima Centauri. According to analysis, they may want that escape ship to deliver information about the target star system to that Level 2 civilization outside. Well, they really hold a grudge, not fleeing but instead staying. While Dugo said this, his face was filled with joy. With this, the number of civilizations he had discovered reached 8. Tell them to keep this information under wraps for now? Whether or not he could destroy 7 civilizations in a month was still uncertain, but he could definitely trace back to the home star system of that hunting fleet with only one mothership left. This way, even if the shift changes later, he wouldn't end up empty-handed. At the very least, out of the 8 civilizations, he could claim credit for 2. Good. Keep a close eye on that mothership. As for the information they're transmitting, it doesn't matter. Let them transmit it. These things aren't important. Once the deputies disguised as other Level 3 civilizations arrive in 3 days, all problems will be solved. Captain, our 8th fleet has successfully stabilized itself. Very good. Send the 2nd fleet in. Kotai nodded his head in satisfaction. Ever since a battleship had escaped and sent out the information about the target galaxy, he had been very worried. They formulated a new battle plan and successfully sent a fleet into the solar system. The 2nd fleet consisted of 10 squads. After arriving, they would quickly set up defenses and expand their area of activity, giving the follow-up troops time to transmigrate. The plan was carried out step by step. In just 3 days, thousands of warships successfully passed through the wormhole and arrived at the solar system. Moreover, from the gravitational wave detector, it could be seen that the 10 motherships that belonged to the thousands of warships were intact. This was enough to explain the problem. Kotai didn't hesitate. He quickly ordered a fleet to guard the wormhole on the neighboring planet. The rest of the fleet followed him in. After the main group left, a lonely escape starship suddenly shuttled out of the wormhole on the neighboring planet. The fleet that had stayed behind initially thought that it was one of their own who had jumped out to deliver the message, but when they saw the unfamiliar warship, they were almost scared to death. Just as he was about to launch an attack, he saw the other party release a large number of intelligence signals that spread in all directions. These signals were not only received by them, but also transmitted to the neighboring planet. Although Moro took a detour to Sirius, he clearly saw the process of the other civilizations' fleets arriving at the neighboring planet and where they were hiding. He even knew that there were 6 civilizations on the planet. Unfortunately, they had spent more than 10 days searching for the wormhole and had not seen the arrival of the Great Whale Army. Otherwise, if Moro knew that there was a Level 3 civilization here, he would not have dared to send the information and would have long fled on the mothership. The solar system? So, the neighboring star system is called the solar system. It's an indigenous civilization called Pangu that chased away the roaming fleet, which caused them to blow up 2 planets before they left. This Panga civilization has just entered Level 2, and they scared the fleet outside for so long? Other civilizations felt contempt upon receiving the information, thinking that Kote's civilization was too weak, being scared off by a civilization that had just entered Level 2. Of course, while ridiculing Kote, people also started paying attention to this indigenous civilization. After all, an indigenous civilization that can scare off a late-stage Level 2 civilization is not weak. Moro, in his quest for revenge, revealed their own strength and disclosed the situation of the previous battle. Commander, Headquarters just sent a message saying they've dispatched a combat guidance group, which should arrive in about a day. What? Dugo was a bit surprised. How is that possible? Even using wormhole acceleration technology, it would take at least IO days to get here from headquarters. How could they arrive tomorrow? The adjutant sighed. I have confirmed with them. It's indeed 1 day until arrival. So, they've already sent people? Dugo was a bit annoyed. Headquarters didn't seem to consider him at all, sending a guidance group at this time. Commander, our people will arrive in 3 days. What if they see through us by then? Dugo hesitated for a moment, then said, tell them to stop for now. I need to figure out what this guidance group is for. Masquerading as another Level 3 civilization and displaying their power at Proxima Centauri was his personal secret move. If the guidance group found out, there might be trouble. It would be better to wait and see what kind of people were in the guidance group, what their purpose was for coming here, and then make a decision. What about the war in the solar system? Let's not interfere for now. Let them fight it out. Dugo shook his head. A war between Level 2 civilizations wasn't particularly interesting to him. His attention was still on how to subdue the 7, or even 8, major civilizations within a month. Commander, the enemy has sent over tens of thousands of warships. This should be all the forces of this civilization. Colonel Chu was giving his regular report. On the gravitational wave detector, there were no detectable units left near the wormhole of the Proxima Centauri system. Even if the enemy left some forces, the number probably wouldn't be large. When are we going to retreat? Zhao Yu asked. According to Colonel Chu's plan, after letting the enemy in, they were to gradually retreat, creating an illusion of weakness to buy as much time as possible. Now, with the light needle weapon, they were even more confident. And the enemy didn't know that their forces had retreated to the vicinity of the Bell Comet, so they would surely continue their fierce attack on Earth, assuming it was their base. We still have about 10 sets of laser defense systems. When we've nearly exhausted them, we can retreat. Colonel Chu quickly presented a new battle plan. During the retreat, we can dispatch small fleets to cover our retreat and harass the enemy, which will also delay them for some time. From the wormhole to Earth, even with their ships, it would take about 25 days of flight. With the harassment tactic, they could delay it to about 50 days. Once both sides are stable, they could engage in another war like the one with Moro's fleet, which would further delay the enemy. All right, you keep an eye on this. I'll be back. Seeing that the production line for the light needle was almost complete, Zhao Yu was a bit impatient. He gave a few simple instructions and hurried away. Back at his place, the light needle production line was just finished, and related information about the light needle appeared on the system interface. Zhao Yu read it carefully and basically understood it. The 1,000-kilometer production line was mostly for producing light needles, with a smaller part for making light needle launchers. The light needle, which seemed just like a needle and weighed less than a gram, was truly forged 1,000 times over to be able to accelerate to near light speed while still maintaining its shape. The light needle weapon can be placed in 2 ways. One is ground-based, placed on the ground, but it's not very flexible due to its fixed location. The other way is to place it on a spaceship, but the spaceship needs to be at least 100 kilometers long. This was the minimum distance required to accelerate the light needle. This meant that none of the active ships could mount a light needle. Zhao Yu recorded another video, telling Uncle Da about the installation of the light needle, and asked if he could modify the ships. Half a day later, Uncle Da's message came. Commander, I can modify the existing production line to produce a stick-type warship that is 100 kilometers long. This warship can only mount the light needle weapon. It won't affect the speed, but it's not very agile in turning. It needs to slow down to change direction. Zhao Yu sighed with relief at the message and replied, then modify it to make this stick-type ship. Other issues are not a problem. Indeed, without other attack and defense methods, they could simply escort this stick-type asterisk warship with other warships. After another half-day of communication, Zhao Yu also got the production time and quantity required for the stick-type warship that could carry the light needle. According to Uncle Da, it was easy to build the stick-shaped battleships. The main issue was with the light needle production line. Despite running non-stop every day, it could only produce 100 light needles. As for equipping the stick-shaped battleships with light needle launchers, that was not a hard task to solve. Basically, 10 stick-shaped battleships could be manufactured per day. 100 light needles a day was quite a significant number. Zhao Yu was very satisfied. He asked Uncle Da to prioritize the production of light needles and the modification of stick-shaped battleships so they could be equipped as soon as possible. 3 days later, Commander, we've lost 10 of our laser defense systems. We can arrange for a retreat now? Colonel Chu, looking tired but with a sparkle in his eyes, reported. He had personally commanded the battle against the aliens over the past 3 days. It had been an invaluable experience for him, and he had gained a lot of cosmic combat experience. Then let's retreat. Zhao Yu nodded, then said, the light needle weapon has been loaded onto the Rui battleship, which is on its way. We should meet them on our return journey. Arrange for a fleet to escort it. The stick-shaped battleship, being new and only able to carry the light needle weapon, was named Rui by Zhao Yu. The inspiration came from Sun Wukong's magical staff in the classic novel Journey to the West. No problem. I have designed 2 escort plans for the Rui battleship. Colonel Chu also seemed excited. After all, this was a weapon that only a level 3 civilization could have, and it was about to join their formation. Captain, good news. The indigenous people have started a large-scale retreat. Luca, aboard the command ship, rushed in with the joyful news. Kota pushed away the woman next to him, quickly dressed, and stepped out to ask for details. Captain, just now, we destroyed their 10th laser defense system. Many ships in their rear base started to retreat. It looks like they are going back to Earth. The information leaked by Moro naturally reached the front line. Kota and his men not only learned that this solar system was called the Solar System, but also that the natives of their system mainly lived on the 3rd planet known as Earth. Excellent, send the order. Follow them. I want them all wiped out. Kota laughed, indulging in the joy of victory. After waiting for a while, Kota noticed Luca hadn't responded. Turning his head, he found Luca entranced, looking at the woman in his room. Kota looked back just in time to see the woman posturing flirtatiously. She looked at Luca with a disdainful gaze. Kota quickly composed himself, lightly patted Luca's shoulder, and smiled. Luca, you've done well recently, always watching the front line. You must be tired. I'll reward you with a day off in my room. What? This? Luca was stunned. What was happening? Captain, I'm not tired. It's an honor for me to share your burdens. This is an order. Kota forcefully put on a serious face. Luca swallowed hard, glancing at the woman in the room. His throat moved involuntarily. Captain, This was his first encounter with such a situation, and he was somewhat at a loss. Just go. Kota grabbed Luca, pushed him into the room, and closed the door with a hearty laugh. Then he headed towards the command center. In a deserted part of his route, he suddenly stopped and turned towards the guards following him like invisible men. You know what to do, right? The 2 guards exchanged glances, unsure. You mean? Luca has a childhood sweetheart who is also on board. She's somewhat attractive. Find a chance to catch them in the act? Yes, the guards responded, clearly unfazed, though a bit hesitant. That childhood sweetheart has some influence back home. That's how she has been secretly supporting Luca. Heh, does her influence surpass mine? Kota sneered. If it wasn't for the need to save face, even if he took her by force, no one would dare say anything. Besides, love is mutual consent. If he can't control himself, can he blame others? The guards had no words and just nodded in agreement. 20 days later, Legion Commander, these people from the guidance group, they are not giving you any respect. The deputy commander was somewhat irritated. Dugo, as the Legion Commander, was treating these people from the guidance group with great hospitality, but his goodwill was met with cold shoulders. They were all quite arrogant. They dared not disrespect Dugo, but for him, Dugo's trusted deputy, they would summon him at will and dismiss him just as quickly. These people have more powerful backgrounds than the next. Just bear with it. Dugo also felt helpless. Dealing with a single person from the guidance group was manageable. He wasn't afraid, but altogether, they had enough power to wipe out the Du family, and he dared not be presumptuous. Luckily, these people had their own internal disputes, which allowed him to get by these days relatively unscathed, except for his deputy commander. Are you feeling better? Dugo asked with concern. Touched on the sore spot, the deputy commander said indignantly, Commander, they aren't disrespecting me, they're disrespecting you. A twitch formed at the corner of Dugo's mouth. If he didn't know that his deputy was just like this, he would have scolded him thoroughly. He patted his deputy on the shoulder and said, "Don't worry, you are my man. One, remember everything they do to you. But for now, we have bigger issues to tackle. If one can successfully conquer these civilizations, one will surely stand at the top. At that time, you can deal with these arrogant youngsters." The deputy commander was overjoyed and quickly asked, "So what's our plan?" Dugo nodded. "Originally, one wanted to try harder, but now it seems they won't let me take all the credit. Quietly inform Golai that he can start now. This time he doesn't need to go to Proxima, go directly to the solar system. After entering, show off the warships that are larger than 50 kilometers to let the civilizations of Proxima know that they are a level 3 civilization. Also, ask them not to completely wipe out the invading civilization in the solar system, but leave some to retreat. This will allow us to follow them back to their home star system. As for the native civilization, destroy it completely, once and for all." The deputy commander was excited. "Legion Commander, this way, the remaining 5 civilizations in Proxima are probably going to flee back to their home stars in panic." "No, there are 6. Dugo smiled. "You forgot about the civilization that the Moro fleet belongs to?" The deputy commander smacked his head. "Look at my memory. They are still here. It's a pity that the destruction of the solar system civilization by Golai can't be attributed to you. Otherwise, you would be a great man who destroyed 8 civilizations. Destroying 7 civilizations is also quite an achievement, enough to be remembered in history." Dugo laughed, urging, "Come on, stop wasting time, act quickly. In a few days, the orders from the Alliance headquarters will probably arrive. Finally, it's about to end. Yeah, this native civilization is just mediocre. Judging by their retreat, they're almost running back to the Earth. According to the intelligence from the Moro fleet, there are several layers of laser defense systems outside the Earth. All these are nothing. They have also destroyed a considerable number of laser defense systems during this time. Outside Proxima, the representatives of the 5 level 2 civilizations were all talking. Having watched the battles for over 20 days, they were itching to join. But at this moment, everyone's attention was on Kote. Everyone was waiting for Kote to destroy the Earth, then follow Kote back to their home star system, trying to catch the Mantis off guard. Just on this day, the fleets of the 5 civilizations suddenly detected an oddity through the gravitational wave detector. Why did a super-large warship suddenly appear near the wormhole in the solar system? That's not right. There isn't such a big warship near the Proxima wormhole. The warships in the solar system that belong to that hunting fleet have all gone to pursue? As everyone was puzzled, the giant warship that suddenly appeared in the solar system exhibited a speed far beyond what a level 2 civilization could possess. At this moment, everyone was shocked. This speed? Level 3 civilization. 3-level civilization has emerged. How can that be possible? The members of the 6 civilizations fleet present were all astounded. According to expert analysis, this star domain could not possibly give birth to a 3-level civilization. This was limited by the cosmic resources. It was said that the closer to the Milky Way, the richer the resources and the more perfect the cosmic laws. Their star domain was in the 3rd spiral arm. Reaching level 2 was already its limit. Unless this 3-level civilization is not from our star domain, they may have come from the 2nd or 1st spiral arm. People were shocked. All eyes were cast into the solar system, observing every move of the spaceship belonging to the 3-level civilization. Why? Outside the room, a woman stood, mumbling to herself. She could occasionally hear the sound of a man and a woman coming from inside. She didn't recognize the woman, but she was very familiar with the man's voice. Just as she was about to burst in and ask Luca why he betrayed her, a man hurried over. "Captain!" The woman was surprised and quickly saluted. Kote nodded. There was urgency in his eyebrows. "What are you doing at my room's door?" "This is your room?" The woman couldn't quite believe it. Luca was so bold. "Yes, what's that sound inside?" Kote asked, pretending not to know. "Is my wife at home? Are you her friend?" The woman fell silent. If this news got out, her family would be ashamed. After a moment's hesitation, she led Kote into the room next door. "I'm Luca's wife, And he's in your room right now? What? Kota was shocked, and the next second he showed an angry face, raising his fist to go out and fight. But the woman stopped him. Luca sleeps with your wife. You sleep with his wife. That makes it even. Huh? Kota was stunned. He didn't expect things to go so smoothly. He didn't need to resort to any other means. He didn't think about anything else, grabbed the woman in front of him, threw her on the bed, hurriedly unbuckled his belt. Just about to take action, the guard outside suddenly knocked on the door in a hurry. Captain, there's a big problem. Damn! Kota cursed under his breath and yelled back, Can't you see I'm busy here? Whatever it is, tell me later. The guard was instantly silenced, pacing anxiously on the side, but did not disturb again. Soon, the symphony began inside. In the room next door, Luca was pushing a cart when he suddenly heard a familiar voice that sounded like his wife's. He shook his head quickly. Damn, I love my wife too much. I'm even hearing things. 33 seconds later, Kota walked out with energy, looking at the guard and asking, What's the problem? Captain, a fleet that seems like a 3-level civilization has appeared inside the solar system and is moving towards us. What? Kota was shocked and yelled angrily, Why didn't you say this earlier? The guard was helpless. If he had interrupted Kota's important business, he might not live until tomorrow. At this moment, the noise in the room next door hadn't stopped. Kota suddenly felt angry. Drag Luca out. What's he doing at this time? After speaking, he hurried towards the control room. As soon as he arrived, a bunch of people rushed up, all talking about the situation. Kota quickly understood the situation. Not long ago, 5 spaceships had crossed through the wormhole in the solar system. Each one moved much faster than them, clearly not something a 2-level civilization could achieve. What was scarier was that these ships were flying towards them at high speed. They were expected to catch up in a day. Captain, let's run. This is a fleet from a 3-level civilization? Yes, according to the manual, we can escape in this situation. As a captain, Kota was clear about the gap between the 2nd and 3rd-level civilizations. They couldn't fight them. Even if they had thousands of warships and the enemy only had 5, it was still an uneven fight. This was similar to them having only thousands of warships, yet being able to chase after the millions of warships of the civilization within the solar system. This was just the gap between 2 2nd-level civilizations. Kota took a deep breath. At this point, he couldn't destroy the local civilization in the solar system. He said, Let's run. Tell everyone to scatter. Whoever can escape should meet at Jiaodu star system. Soon, thousands of warships each chose a route to avoid the 5 enemy ships and fled towards the wormhole in the solar system. They didn't change their course. Kota was somewhat surprised. The 5 warships were still maintaining their original trajectory, flying towards the blue star, and did not send troops to intercept them. That's great. They must look down on us. We're really lucky. Everyone cheered. However, 2 hours later, about half of the fleeing warships suddenly exploded without warning. What's going on? Kota was stunned, sitting in the command ship, almost unable to believe what he saw. Did we get attacked? There's no detection of any attack? The remaining few thousand ships were stunned. They were terrified and sent messages to the command ship asking what was happening. How should I know what's going on? Those 5 battleships must be responsible. They are a level 3 civilization. Right now, Kota is very frightened. How did this silent attack come and destroy those 5,000 battleships? In the remaining time, the remaining 5,000 battleships turn up their energy shields to the maximum. But what's scarier is, it doesn't seem to help. On the star map, one battleship after another is destroyed without warning. It's as if there is an invisible ghost in the dark universe, silently taking them away. Finally, someone couldn't stand it and launched an attack on the 5 battleships of the level 3 civilization. But the result was, the enemy was unscathed, and the battleships that attacked were all destroyed without exception. Captain, besides the first wave, the enemy's attack frequency is not high. We seem to have a chance to escape. On the command ship, the think tank members are desperate, presenting their analysis results. Kota starts praying, hoping the ghost-like attack won't target them. Commander, there is a spaceship from a level 3 civilization. What? Zhao Yu looks at the gravity wave detector, very surprised. He didn't expect the enemy to send battleships so soon. Colonel Chu, however, looks serious. There are no spaceships passing by the wormhole near the neighboring star. This means that these 5 battleships came from somewhere else. Somewhere else? Zhao Yu was startled, quickly checking the reputation system, but didn't find a new progress bar. This means that only those 22 civilizations know about their Earth civilization. Could it be that the civilization of the newly arrived 5 spaceships doesn't know their situation? That's impossible. As soon as they appeared in the solar system, they headed straight for Earth, obviously knowing their situation. Unable to understand for the time being, Zhao Yu didn't bother thinking about it and directly asked, "What should we do now?" The enemy is a level 3 civilization. They most likely have light needle weapons. Colonel Chu said seriously, "If they fire a light needle at our Earth, we won't be able to detect it. The only way is to use the kinetic cannon for indiscriminate firing, to detonate any possible light needle from the enemy in advance." Can the kinetic cannon work? Zhao Yu is a bit anxious. This weapon was available when the base was only at level 1. Can it resist an attack from a level 3 civilization? Yes, it can. Our kinetic cannon has small bullets. We have stored quite a lot to fight against the Moro fleet. We can achieve complete coverage. After all, Earth is not big. We only need to fire the ammunition of the kinetic cannon into the orbit where the light needle might pass. Seeing Zhao Yu's worry, Colonel Chu comforts him. Here we are in the real universe. Although there are technology levels 1, 2, and 3, it's not like in fantasy novels where a high level completely crushes the low level and doesn't give them a chance to fight back. Even technological weapons have to follow universal rules. We know the strengths and weaknesses of the light needle. If we know in advance, using the kinetic cannon can totally intercept it. After hearing this, Zhao Yu calms down a bit. "All right, you handle it then. Commander, if we only defend and not counterattack, we can't beat them." Colonel Chu didn't rush to leave. He continued, "The enemy is unlikely to detect the bullets from the kinetic cannon at super long distances. But if we let them get a bit closer and they see us firing the kinetic cannon, they will definitely realize we know about the light needle. Then it will be difficult to damage them. Now, the only way to win is to use the light needle to attack them while they don't know that we have a light needle and know its strengths and weaknesses." Colonel Chu pointed to the star map and said, "I just looked at the star map. The 10,000 battleships of the other level 2 civilization have been scattered and are escaping towards the wormhole. And those 5 level 3 civilization battleships didn't move. Maybe they really don't want to intervene, but I guess they have already launched the light needle." From this point of view, their attitude towards level 2 civilization is disdain. Now they are on a straight trajectory towards Earth. My idea is to calculate their trajectory now and then launch the light needle to destroy them. Zhao Yu hesitates a bit, as they still don't fully understand the enemy's situation. If the enemy has other intentions, their attack will leave no room for reconciliation. But now, the enemy is obviously heading for Earth. If they do nothing, they will miss the best time to attack. After hesitating for a moment, Zhao Yu grits his teeth and nods, "Then let's attack." Soon, the 25 operational Rui battleships, after calculation, fired the light needle on the must-pass route of the 5 battleships of the level 3 civilization. To ensure a hit, the 25 battleships launched half of their stored light needles, over 1,000 of them. At this moment, the distance between the two sides is 8 billion kilometers. According to calculations, the light needle will hit the enemy's 5 battleships 6.9 billion kilometers away from Earth. Hope there won't be any surprises. In the following time, Zhao Yu never left the command room, constantly watching the enemy's battleships. He feared that if the enemy changed their trajectory, their attack would fail. Meanwhile, at Colonel Chu's suggestion, they would reposition all spaceships 6 hours later. This time was just when the enemy would arrive in the solar system and launch light needles at light speed to reach their location. This was a prediction of a possible enemy attack. Even if the prediction was wrong, they could just change their position. 2 hours later, "Commander, another fleet of level 2 civilization, 5,000 battleships just blew up." Colonel Chu spoke with some joy. Looking at the situation, these battleships seem to have been hit by light needles. Zhao Yu breathed a sigh of relief when he heard this. He was afraid that the enemy possessed weapons only level 3 civilizations could have. Fortunately, the weapon the enemy currently released was still the light needle they were familiar with. Not good. That fleet of level 2 civilization has begun to attack. Will this change the trajectory of those 5 battleships? Just as they were worried, the 5 battleships belonging to the level 3 civilization on the star map still remained the same, showing no intention of changing their course. Moreover, not long after, those battleships of the attacking level 2 civilization were all destroyed. They have stopped firing. Zhao Yu breathed a sigh of relief. As long as those 5 battleships didn't change their trajectory, they would be destroyed in at most 4 hours. Alert! Alert! Unknown level 3 civilization detected. All personnel returned to their posts quickly. The Great Whale Legion, with 1,000,000 warships, sounded the alarm at this moment. The members of the guidance group, who were originally competing for power and profits, all became nervous and rushed to the command ship to inquire about the situation. Where did this level 3 civilization come from? How could there be another level 3 civilization here? Dugo shook his head. One don't know. According to the supergravitational wave detector, they came into the solar system from another entrance 300 light-years away. They must have been attracted by the explosion of the 2 stars. What? Is our current position safe? A member of the guidance group was startled. It's safe. As early as a year ago, we had scanned all suspicious objects in this galaxy and confirmed that there were no traces of other high-level civilizations. Dugo paused for a moment, realizing he had been in this unfamiliar galaxy for a year without knowing it. Most of the time, they were hidden, recording the newly arrived level 2 civilization. Indeed, it's a level 3 civilization. 5,000 warships of the level 2 civilization that attacked the natives were destroyed. Looking at the attack method, it seems they used light needles. What should we do? Should we send troops in? We can't go in. What if it's a trap? Right, we should just watch for now. You guys keep an eye on this. I'm going to report to the headquarters. I need to inform my family as well. Over a dozen members of the guidance group hurried in and out. By the way, don't we have a troop at the other wormhole exit in the solar system? Let them check the situation. I'll contact them right away. After some scrambling, all the higher-ups regrouped in the command room. How did it go? What did the headquarters say? Dugo pretended to stare at the screen, taking the opportunity to ask. However, someone looked at Dugo with a strange expression. Dugo, are you sure you have nothing to do with these 5 warships? Just at this moment, on the star map, the 5 battleships belonging to the level 3 civilization suddenly exploded. The whole room was shocked. What's going on? How is this possible? Where did they go? They were destroyed. Who did it? How would I know? On the neighboring planet, the 5 civilizations were all shocked about the outcome. However, the detector clearly showed that the 5 level 3 spaceships had indeed been destroyed. Could it be the work of the level 2 civilization? Impossible. They are still escaping towards the wormhole. Kotez's fleet was extremely weak, and they had long stopped their counterattack. No one believed it was them. What about the native civilization? This native civilization could not even repel the level 2 civilization, let alone the level 3. People were confused as there are only 3 civilizations revealed in the solar system. The native civilization, Kotez's fleet, and the last was the level 3 civilization. Could there be a 4th civilization? However, the gravitational wave detector could even detect a level 3 civilization spaceships. No one could have escaped from their detector, unless it encountered a Type 4 civilization. Could it be that this indigenous civilization is a disguised Type 3 civilization, and that they destroyed the 5 battleships? Everyone was remaining silent in disbelief, but this possibility couldn't be ruled out. Recently, there are quite a number of spaceships exceeded 100 kilometers in length. They must be designed for some special purpose. The Ruri warship could not escape the gravitational wave detector due to its massive size. Naturally, all the 5 civilizations started to suspect native civilization. Those 5 warships were destroyed. By analysis the situation, it seems to have been hit by a light needle. Who did this?
No idea.
Dugo was shocked. It was not part of his plan for those 5 battleships to perish in the solar system. This stated that an uncontrollable factor has interrupted his original plan. With the doubt of third level 3 civilization arrived within the solar system, all the members of committee were astounded. This was truly frightening. For a moment, all kinds of guesses spread among the committee. Dugo was also at a loss. He could only send the news back to the headquarters and wait for a decision. Of course, he wasn't stupid enough to reveal the backscene player. He only mentioned as 2 unfamiliar civilizations equipped with same military force level. Shall we retrieve now? If this is a setup, and we lure the enemy to the mother planet? All 5 civilizations at Proxima Centauri now were regretting about their decision. If they knew the level 3 civilization was confronting here, they would have never come. Now, they could neither retreat nor join the battlefield. They wanted to escape, but worrying their action might lead their enemy back to their homeland. They could only continue hiding inside Proxima Centauri, hoping the situation gets better later. Within the solar system, what should we do now? Zhao Yu felt headache for the sudden appearance of level 3 civilization warship disrupted their plan. However, if they did not destroy those 5 battleships, the Earth would be destroyed. Without much choices, they have to reveal their hidden weapon. Commander, rest assured, Colonel Chu explained with a calm tone, we're clearly a civilization that has just entered level 2, yet we possessed a level 3 civilization's weapon. The ones who should be worried and confused now should be the level 3 civilizations at Proxima Centauri. So, before they figure out our true capabilities, they are likely not to act. During this time, we just need to methodically destroy the enemy warships and re-establish our defenses near the wormhole. While everyone was busy carrying out their discussion, Kotte's fleet finally reached the wormhole. After a quick check, they found that out of the tens of thousands of warships that followed, only 500 remained. The rest were still left behind. It's too terrifying. Captain, should we wait for them? Activate the wormhole immediately and retreat now. Kotte dared not stay any longer. The 5 civilizations at Proxima Centauri were limited by distance and couldn't see the specific situation inside the solar system. But they saw everything. After those 5 spaceships were destroyed, they still had nearly 5,000 spaceships left. But they were also being destroyed one after another on their way to the wormhole. The phenomena was similar as those 5 spaceship was attacking them. Unlike them, none of the native civilization's spaceships were destroyed. With that, if he still didn't understand what was happening, he would be a fool. Damn, the native civilization in this solar system is a trap set by a big civilization. They were planning to hunt down other level 3 civilizations, not us. Luckily, they seemed to be focusing on the newly emerged level 3 civilization, giving us a chance to escape. Only when the command ship entered the wormhole did Kotte finally breathe a sigh of relief. Inside the wormhole, it was absolutely safe. This native civilization actually has the light needle technology, but when they were fighting with the other civilization beforehand, they didn't show it. Don't you understand? They are just pretending as a level 2 civilization. This is clearly a trap. While the other level 2 civilization can't see the situation within the solar system, the Great Whale Legion's supergravitational wave detectors can clearly see the status of every battleship within the solar system. They've noticed the continuous destruction of Kotte's fleet. Right after the destruction of the level 3 civilization battleships, the only one who were facing the Kotte's fleet was the native civilizations of the solar system. As for whether there might be a level 4 civilization hiding, this has been flatly denied. If there truly were a level 4 civilization, they wouldn't be able to watch the show peacefully. Commander Dugo, the headquarters has issued us an order. You will continue to command the Legion and adapt to circumstances in the Proxima star system. You're not allowed to return to the home star system without orders. Duge nodded. He knew the bad things would inevitably fall to him. He then asked, what about the instructors? Headquarters has rejected the instructors' request to return to the homeland. Ah! Duge sneered. He found the scared expressions of these privileged second-generation characters amusing. They're a bunch of wastes. They jump at every opportunity and retreat at every danger. Now it seems they're nothing more than pitiful pawns. Large families are ruthless, which is not news to him. They wouldn't risk their homeland for some privileged individuals. That night, some resigned instructors came to Duge, promising to fully support his work. They just hoped he could safely take them home. But there were some who were not wise enough, still frantically sending messages to headquarters, using their connections and demanding to go home. A month later, is there any movement within the solar system? None. Besides re-establishing their battle line near the wormhole, no other action have taken. Doogo's brows furrowed. For the past month, he hadn't dared to act rashly and had been staying in the Proxima star system observing the solar system. He was trying to speculate what this Level 3 civilization wanted to do. At this moment, his adjutant ran over. "Commander, there's a message from headquarters." "Speak." Headquarters said that the pressing matter at hand is to focus on the Level 3 civilization. The Level 2 civilizations can be used as pawns if necessary. Doogo could understand this. The reason they destroy lower-level civilizations is because they fear that one day these civilizations might surpass them and pose a threat. This is to prevent possible future threats, so it's not an urgent matter now. But an unknown Level 3 civilization is undoubtedly a present threat to them. He must figure out the situation within the solar system. One thing that's certain is that the solar system is definitely not their home star system. According to the think tank at headquarters, based on the current intelligence analysis, there are two civilizations within the solar system. One is the real indigenous civilization, namely the so-called Earth civilization, with a real civilization level of about 0.75. The other is a Level 3 civilization. After discovering the Earth civilization, they didn't destroy them, but instead hid their fleet here. They intentionally let the Moro fleet destroy 2 planets to attract other civilizations, so as to gather information about them. Doogo nodded slightly. This was more or less what he had thought. A place like the solar system couldn't possibly give birth to a Level 3 civilization. Not even a Level 2 civilization is likely. So, behind the indigenous civilization of the solar system, there must be another higher-level civilizations. What they need to deal with is that civilization hiding behind the scenes. We can't drag this longer. It had been a whole month, and the other party had not made any moves. There was no point in hiding. Doogo decided to take the initiative. Sooner or later, they have to expose themselves. There was no need to stay hidden among the other Level 2 civilizations anymore. On the same day, Doogo sent out an army to drive out the other 5 hidden civilizations. As for Kote's 500 battleships, they left the Proxima Centauri as soon as they escaped the solar system. Right now, the Doogo's troop were following them. In some time, they would find their home planet. Damn it! When did this Level 3 civilization get here? The Fire Fury civilization was quite furious about it. They thought they got here first, as they were the closest to the solar system. They ended up not being the first one to arrive here. The 5 Level 2 civilizations that were chased out obediently admitted defeat after their initial probing, and their warships were easily destroyed. Of course, this was also related to Doogo sending a message saying that he would not wipe them out. Soon, the fleet leaders of the 5 Level 2 civilizations finally met under Doogo's arrangements. The meeting place was naturally held on Doogo Command Fleet. The 5 leaders were all different, but they all had bright eyes, which is a common trait for living beings. Soon, under the lead of a few mermaid guards, the 5 of them arrived at a meeting room. Doogo, who appearance like an octopus, was leading the meeting. "Welcome, everyone," Doogo said with a smile. The 5 leaders were confused, not knowing what Doogo said. Soon, someone used the translation system that was created using the formulas and algorithms inherent in the universe to translate Doogo's words. #Yuan %, #Yuan. Is Yuan at *#. The 5 of them naturally replied in their own language. Doogo also had 5 translators. After tapping into the devices, the conversation began in a formal way. In this setting, nobody would dare to provoke someone from a higher civilization level, especially when the other party holds the right to eliminate them yet. Seeing this, Doogo nodded happily and continued, "We are gathering here for a reason. The civilization in the solar system is very evil. It destroyed nearly 10,000 warships from another civilization. Therefore, we hope to form an alliance to punish the solar system native civilization together." At this point, He paused and raised his hand for the interpreter to explain. Soon, the five of them heard the meaning of Dugou's words. They looked at each other in confusion. However, some of them guessed quickly. They might be used as bait in the fight between the two level 3 battle. But even if he knew, what could he do? Under such circumstances, they had no choice but to agree. Moreover, it seemed like the other side didn't fully want to destroy their homeland. This meant they still had a chance to escape. If they could stay alive, nobody wanted to die. Soon, the alliance formed by the 6 civilizations to conquer the solar system was formed. The Great Whale Legion had 1,000,000 warships, and the other 5 had between 10,000 to 100,000 warships. Dugou's Legion would handle the level 3 civilization, and the 5 civilization will handle the native civilization. Even though he said this, he didn't send out any warships to go into the wormhole first. The 5 civilization had no choice. They each sent out some of their warships to invade the solar system. There were also quite a number of vanguards. The 5 civilizations each sent 10,000 warships, which added up to 50,000 warships. This was 5 times larger than Kotei's fleet before. After a first try, the attack group quickly broke through the wormhole defense and set up a temporary defense line near the solar system's wormhole. With Kotei's example in mind, the attack group only cautiously attacked Zhao Yu's warships back and forth. Zhao Yu's group also saw everything happening in the Proxima Centauri system. The Madu of level 3 has forced these 5 level -2 civilization to attack the solar system. How do we handle this? Zhao Yu had been having a lot of meetings lately. Every time something happened in the Proxima Centauri system, he had to gather experts to discuss the situation. Colonel Chu, a top officer, smiled and said, "Boss, this is a good thing. It shows the Madu civilization doesn't want to fight us directly. They seem to want to use these level 2 civilization to figure out our strength. This means we won't have to fight the Madu until these level 2 civilization are all gone. So, when we fight these level 2 civilization, we don't need to use the light needle weapon. We can fight with our plan before."